fix it down here. We got another issue. One of my AC units, the compressor, went out bad, and so I had a spare unit, but it's a R22 condenser, and this one is a 410A. So what we're going to do here is we are going to change out the compressor with the R22 compressor, and I'm going to convert this system back to R22 using a 410A condenser. And I've already changed the thermostatic expansion valve in the air handler. I changed it to an R22 expansion valve. Got it soldered in, and I'm going to take you along me installing the compressor. Now the thing is you can see it's got you got the safety controls right down in here. Let's see, right there. You got one there, and you've got another one down there. Right, let's get to cutting these lines off. I'm gonna blow through it with nitrogen. Let's see. Shoot. I guess let's just take the fan off. Okay, so look in here. So what we have is, this is a 410A unit. We're gonna make it R22, because that's the compressor I have. If I had a 410A that could handle the pressure, I would just put 410A back in it. So upstairs with an air handler, we changed and put a TXV that can actually do both 410A or R22. This is a Danfoss type TR6. So you can adjust your expansion valve for either R22, 407C, or 410A. It just tells you how many turns to tighten and adjust your spring. So it tells you right there to increase or decrease superheats 1 turn for R22, so on and so forth. So even if I ever wanted to convert this back, say I get a compressor, this compressor went out, and I get a 410A one, I can always convert it back to 410A. Well, I'll leave the high pressure, but I'm gonna bypass this low pressure for now, and then I'm going to wire in an all range, and I'm just going to hook these up, put straighter ports on it, and hook these in, and I can adjust it to whatever level I want it to be. So the Johnson Controls pin all range. That's the model of it right there, P170 MA-1. And it's got a manual high pressure reset, so if it ever trips, say your condenser fan motor goes out, it'll trip this, and you will have to come out here and physically reset it, and then that's when you'll find your fan motor out, which is a really good safety to have. I'm gonna cut the low pressure switch wires and put in a wire nut. So essentially I'm just bypassing the low pressure switch right here for right now. Then we can have air conditioning upstairs.
What a
Oh, the thermostat's still on. See that? So, because we have no Freon in the system, so whenever I actually, that's the contactor making. So it'd be like the low pressure switches. Man, it's 24 volts. See that? I have the high voltage turned off, but I need to go turn the thermostat off. All right. Here, you can put all them screws in here. Because we installed that TXV, and you can get soot and stuff. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna blow nitrogen through it. I'm gonna cut it right here and valve off before I cut the compressor out. Let me have a crescent wrench, and I also need a service wrench. Oh no, I don't. Never mind. This one doesn't. It just has a valve you just turn. So that's good. So what I want to do is I'm going to valve this off. I'm valving the suction off, and then I'm going to push nitrogen, which it'll deadhead right here, but it'll go all the way upstairs through the air handler and come back and blow out right here. So what I'm going to do is
I'll put this here.
Let's cut this right here.
Well, it was right there. I got something was right there. Blow at me.
Yeah, you got to get back. Go jump on the trampoline.
I want to help you.
I know, buddy, but you can't. There's too many people in this little space.
Then why am I helping y'all with the screws?
You already did that. There may be a little bit of Freon in here. That's it. Really wasn't nothing in there because there was none in it. Just a teeny tiny. Okay, so now let me see my gauges. Look, there's a nail right there. Look at that. So what I'm gonna do is put my suction hose.
Like that suction hose.
Put it right here on this suction line jar. And let me see that nitrogen bottle behind you. We're gonna be on R22 for later. You'll see how it's coming out right there. So you know that we're going all the way through the system, through the air handler, through the TXV, coming back out to here. A green screw.
Yeah, see?
I found it on the ground. It was from the deck. I mean, it's a new dryer, so I know it's not clogged. But I am going to put in sight glass, which that's the number for it, to spoil it, for 3/8. So that will be soldered in right there. And actually, I think I'm gonna trim it just a little bit. So this line's not in such a bind. Change it, but this is what I'm going to put these T's fittings. I'm going to put, and that's what I'm going to use for the manual pressure switch that I'm putting in.
You putting it on the threads?
Yeah, you put it on the threads. It's what it just seals the threads, and it doesn't ever dry like the old style leak lock that's blue. It after a while that stuff gets dry and hardens up and starts to crack, whereas this stuff doesn't dry. That's why I like it. All right, so we got all that on there. Now we need to change this compressor out.
So that entire big thing is what was out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the windings went bad, and it didn't go to ground, but it was really weak on one of the windings, so it was causing it to trip. So I'm gonna go with couplings. You go ahead and actually I may have couplings right here. Let's see if I have couplings right here. This is my little thing of fittings. There's a coupling right there. And we have another one. Bam. You want it shiny because the silver solder sticks better. I have, bigger cutters for cutting the copper, but I always seem to use these little ones all the time. Except for when I have, bigger copper to cut, of course, but I guess they're so easy because they're mini and they're easy to get into tight spaces, and that's why I use them all the time.
It cuts quicker.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Alright, well I soldered that one, now I'll solder this side. I put this plate here, it keeps you from melting stuff. I always use it for tight spots and stuff.
That hole right there, I like to get It's still burning.
Still burning?
Yeah.
Steaming?
Why are you making smoke?
Steam.
That's water mixed with fire. Makes steam. Or water mixed with heat.
Here, re-wet it.
Re-wet it? Oh man, it's hot.
Yeah, it cools it off. Alright, got that put in.
Can't poke it, Dad.
Didn't have a sight glass for. Now I will have one. What'd you do with that other stick that you had? Solder.
I stuck it back in there.
We don't need it. Yeah, just hold it for a minute. Alright, it's been 20 minutes. I got that wired in and zip tied in there. And these wire nuts, those are wet location wire nuts. Just wiring them together. They got the, if you can see that, but they got like silicone added to it. Keeps the moisture from getting in there to them. And I put them facing up, that way when it does rain, the water just runs down. So it looks like we're just holding steady. 275, so for 20 minutes that's perfect. It only lost a half of PSI, but mainly that's just everything adjusting. Fixing to pull a vacuum and that'll tell us for sure how many microns. You know, so I guess while that's going on, I'm gonna get the we'll get the pressure switch hooked in. So, and we'll go from there. All right, we'll be right back. All right, so got the vacuum going, and we are at 716. So let it keep going a little bit more. Vacuuming. Went ahead and wired in our dual pressure switch. And I've got it to cut in somewhere about 58, 60, 55, somewhere in there. And then it'll cut out around 35 PSI. And then I've got, because I'm on the liquid line, I'm not on the discharge line, because I would have to get a long line, capillary line, to run it all the way in here. And the way it's designed, I'm not going to do all that. So, or I would have to come in here and put it in here, which would have been a pain. So, but I still have this high pressure from the 410A into the circuit. Not that it should ever get that high, but if the fan motor got out, it could get that high. But this one I'll take it out before. So I've set it on 350 on the liquid line. And that should be sufficient. It actually could probably go 325. So that should work on that. And I did wire in a start capacitor and a start relay. So I've got that ran into it because I didn't have it before. And I also put the shunt on here. And the other compressor did not have a shunt, and I'm thinking that may have been what took out that winding, because the compressor's never warm to allow the oil to migrate back. It didn't have a crankcase heater, it just had a 2-pole contactor. So I put the shunt one that came off of that other unit in here and wired in that. You just got can she run, common start run, 521. It goes into 5, 2, and 1 on here. So we're mainly just waiting for it to finish pulling a vacuum, and then we can put some Freon in it and charge it up. Alright, well, we are ready to put some Freon in it. Here we go. I heard that pressure switch make. Flashing through there. Good. Go in here. I heard the pressure switch make. I mean, the contactor just pulled in, but we're gonna let it put a little in there first before we start it up. I got the disconnect off. Clear side glass. Running about 6.7, 6.6 amps. And superheat is 14, and we're subcooling about 13. 65 and 188. And it's fluctuating, it's still hunting around. I mean, I just finished adding the Freon, so. We're running about 18-degree split, and got it dialed in, so let's go check out the outside unit. Only thing I'm going to adjust is I'm going to lower that high pressure cutout. I'm going to lower it to, I got it set on 350, but I think I'm going to lower it to 250, 280, 200. So we go into a manual reset. Oh, we're getting close. There it goes. Just cut it out. See what that sweat looks like. Y'all can't really see it, but you can probably see the water down in there. And it's sweating just right there on the edge of the compressor going in. And a little drip. I think I'm gonna go about 275. We'll see. If it trips out during the heat of the summer, I'm gonna raise it up, but I don't think it ever will. 65, so right there. That'll work. Alright, so now we should be able to manually reset. just started up, so it takes it a minute. All in all, I'm happy with it. We'll see how she works. Alright. We'll see y'all in the next video. Later.